Hey everyone, I'm Almar of almarsguides.com, and this video here is my Dark Isle gameplay video. So this is Asheron's Call that you're watching right now, and this gameplay video is going to be a lot different than the other gameplay videos I've recently uploaded. And there's a few different reasons for this. First, this gameplay video is going to be much different than the other ones because instead of actually using V-Tank, I'm pretty much well, not pretty much, I am controlling 100% of what my character does. I'm in charge of healing myself, stamina, revitalizing myself, getting my mana back, dodging abilities, and using my own abilities. There are pretty much two different ways to play Asheron's Call. One is with V-Tank. And what that does is it pretty much automates the play experience for you. It'll kill stuff, it'll heal you, it'll buff you. It pretty much does everything for you. And V-Tank / any way to automate the game has been a part of Asheron's Call for years. It all pretty much started with EL Tank way back in the day. And ever since then, you know, it's been one of the most used add-on / plugins available for players. And it definitely is one that you'll want because it helps you out a ton when it comes time to, you know, farming less fun dungeons, say Tuskers or Ulthoys or something like that. However, there are areas of the game that are more difficult to do and, you know, definitely require you to be much more attentive than, you know, as you would be using V-Tank or something like that. And this is one of those areas on Dark Isle. What you need to do as pretty much a mage or, you know, as an archer, and even melee can dodge spells too, albeit less effectively, is pretty much you need to dodge spells, you need to keep a little bit of range on the mobs, and you need to avoid getting hit as much as possible. That's pretty much what Asheron's Call is all about. The spells in this game hurt. And by hurt, I mean like 4 spells and you're dead. Whereas, you know, other games, spells, you know, would probably hurt just as much as a melee ability. But it's not like that in this game. You need to dodge spells, and all spells are dodgeable, unlike other games, you know, where they would home in on you and hit you and stuff like that. In this game, like I said, you can dodge all of the spells, and in order to survive in a lot of situations, you will need to dodge a bunch of spells. And not only that, you also need to debuff yourself, or rather debuff the enemies, and cleanse debuffs off of yourself. I was actually out of debuff, you know, cleansers, I guess you could call them, and that wasn't too bad or too big of an issue because I was able to dodge all of the spells myself. However, you know, when push comes to shove in other areas, when mobs would get closer to me and melee me as well as debuffing me and casting spells, that could, you know, end up being a deadly combination. Now, what you're pretty much seeing in this gameplay video, and I'll mention it now before, you know, it continues on. I'm narrating after the fact of actually playing because I tried narrating while playing and it just turned out to be you know, too hard and too annoying. You know, I'd get sidetracked by something somewhere and then it would just end badly pretty much. I would start messing up and everything like that. Pretty much what I'm doing is I'm hunting Dark Isle for black coral golems because they drop hearts that I want from Maniforge keyrings. And this is one of the most accurate gameplay videos of Asheron's Call you'll see, and pretty much very closely showing you what gameplay is going to be like in the game. Now, I'm not showcasing any PvP, it's all strictly PvE, and it's pretty straightforward. You know, you just run around, you kill mobs, much like any other game. You have a bunch of abilities / spells, rather, to use, and you get to see, you know, how everything works in this game. Now, it's a lot different than, you know, other games in a sense because of, you know, any other game out there is pretty much, it's actually vastly different. You know, you have an array of abilities to choose from. Like, say, as a mage, which I am in this game, you'll have different abilities, like one that'll root the mob, one that'll slow the mob, one that might, like, blink you to a separate place, you know, one that might summon a pet or, you know, an AoE explosion type thing, an instant cast, you know, small hitting ability or something like that. And in this game, it's really much different than that. You have life magic, which controls all of the vulnerabilities / heals, stamina, mana regenerations / replenishes. That's what life magic does. And this is pretty much essential for anybody that's a mage or even anybody that wants to solo pretty much at all, because life magic allows you to vuln mobs, which is short for vulnerable, which makes them more vulnerable to your attacks. Now the golems out here are vulnerable to bludge. So what I want to do is cast incantation of bludge vulnerability on them, which makes them take more damage from bludgeon, and then I'll use my incantation of pretty much bludge, and what it does is hits them with a bludgeoning ability, thus doing a lot of damage. And also at certain points in the video, you'll see me use Tusker Fists, which is pretty much a line of 4 fists and then another 4 fists on top of each other. And what this does is creates a wall, which is an AoE ability that hits more than one target. They move very slow, as you can see in other parts of this video where mobs cast stuff at me that look, identical, but they're just not fists. It might be acid or fire or snowballs, and they hit much weaker than other spells, but they are a big wall and they're much harder to avoid, and they move much slower. What the Tusker Fists do is pretty much say, the golem is pretty big in a sense. So if he's standing right in the middle of the Tusker Fist, he'll get hit with like 4 of them instead of just getting hit with 1 or, it only hitting him once. The game works a lot different in that sense because, if you cast a wall at an enemy, however many fists or however many objects in that wall collide with them, that's how many are actually going to hit him. And, also, the enemies have these abilities too. Like, you can see the enemies that, like, snowball me. They cast, like, this huge, like, cone, pretty much, of snowballs, and they all fly at me, and I'm able to, get out of the way. And they shoot, like, acid walls at me, which I'm pretty much easily able to get out of the way as well, and things like that. And then, pretty much like every other game, you'd run in there, you'd loot them, and after you loot them, then it's on to the next pack of mobs or on to the next mob, however it works. So, this game, like I said, it works a lot differently than other games. It's definitely something you want to get used to, but it's very, very rewarding once you do get used to it. It has a very, very cool combat system, for casters at least. For the melee, I don't really like the combat system. It's very lackluster and doesn't take much skill to play. But mages, definitely a great, great play, and very much fun when it comes to Asheron's Call. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, as always, like, comment, and subscribe to me for future gaming and Asheron's Call videos. As always, guys, good luck, happy hunting, and I'll catch you around in the next video.